Hey guys, and welcome to the video. So a little bit of a different one today, so let me explain. So today I'd like to just have a little chat to you about some posts on my Instagram page, just to expand on some topics. And if you'd like to follow me on Instagram, it is Harry Snell Fitness. But let's get into it. So just picking out a few posts here, I've got one here. So you can only worry about something you know about. What do you spend your time looking at? So this is really important. A lot of the stress that we create in our life is due to knowing about things. And out there in the world, there are millions of bits of news and content being thrown at you from all around the world. And a lot of these things are not useful for you. In actual fact, they're doing the opposite. They're focusing you on negative things and they're making you feel inferior. And we all know that things like magazine covers and photos on the internet can be photoshopped, often are. And when you see people in these photos, they are often not a representation of how that person looks in real life. So when you do a photo shoot, it's with a heavy dark tan, special lighting, and the people that do them, they dehydrate for that day, so their muscles or their tone stands out more, so they don't really look like that. And also during photo shoot, they will be flexing, so they look more lean than they actually are. So comparing yourself to something that doesn't basically exist, you're looking at things so high and so far away from where you are now that it's giving you unrealistic expectations and creating a gap of, I look like this and this person looks like this and I want to look like that. So just consider that a lot of things out there are not realistic. And also, secondly, what are you consuming? What's going into your head? Is it taking your focus off what you want to be focusing on? Is it making you feel bad? Okay, so that's very, very important. So let's have a look at another post. So this one here. So I speak to a lot of people, and the perfectionism mindset is very, very prominent with losing weight. So it goes as follows. So when I can be perfect, I'll be totally on the diet. But when I can't be perfect, I do nothing at all. So there's nothing in the middle. It's either totally on the diet or totally off. And so many people worry about doing things they'd actually enjoy, like going on holiday, because what happens if I can't follow my diet? What happens if I can't be perfect? I'd rather stay at home inside where I can control everything. But just think how sad that is. So the approach to dieting has to change, and getting rid of this perfectionism mindset where you can be 80% or 70% on it and still get absolutely amazing results. In actual fact, better results than if you're 100% on it, because how often does your day go to routine where everything happens as you want it to happen? Not very often. So you often go off the diet, start again tomorrow or on Monday. So very, very important to just think about it like that. And this one here, one that I always refer back to. So fat loss is simple, like it's very simple. All you need to do is eat less than your body needs, but it's not easy, because eating less than your body needs applies to our life. Our life is full of stuff going on, and I've written some things here. So what happens when your motivation wavers? What happens when you feel you need to step on the scale every 5 minutes? What happens when you decide to eat the cake over the salad? What happens when you're bored? What happens when you don't have time to plan? What happens when you beat yourself up? What happens when you stress yourself out? Or you end up eating your feelings, or you have low confidence, or you're finding it difficult to follow through, or you feel that you're going to fail, so why bother? Or you just don't know what the right decision is to make, so you don't make any decision. And so fat loss is really an emotional problem, because it comes from how we feel. The food part is important, but it's just a skill, and it's probably the easiest part to learn. the rest of it, how to navigate life, how to apply this diet, how to lose weight while navigating life is the key to actually getting success. And so that's why this is so important. Yes, fat loss is simple, but it's not easy. And so this one I like as well. So what do you do when you feel food guilt? So very, very common. You feel you haven't been perfect on your diet and you end up beating yourself up. So really realizing that guilt is a signal. So it's a signal that you've done something you didn't like. And so basically, most people try and get rid of that guilt. Okay. So the point with this is you're losing the benefit. So you're missing the opportunity to change if you try and get rid of that guilt rather than using it in the right way. So things that are common to do is calling a friend and telling them you overate, looking for them to justify it for you. Oh, it's okay, you've been really good, da, da, da. Or other things like just wallowing in the guilt and just feeling it and just feeling terrible. So, like I said, guilt is a signal, and it's a signal that you violated your values around your health and who you see yourself as. So, because guilt is a signal, you have to take action on that signal. Don't wallow in it, don't try and get rid of it, take action on it, okay? So this means working out what you can do next time so the thing doesn't happen again. So always remember, there is no failure, just feedback. So guilt is telling you, look for something to change next time so you don't have to suffer the same problem the next time around. And so don't feel bad that you're guilty, feel grateful because that guilt is helping you never have to make the same mistake again. So it's there to help. Take action on it, use it rather than trying to get rid of it. So that's why I like that sort of idea around guilt. Most people, they don't know how to handle guilt and end up beating themselves up. And so this one, so most people have accidentally learned that food is a quick and easy way to change the way you feel. So you'll feel a negative way, whether it's stress, boredom, or negative emotions, and you want to feel a positive way. Food is just a link between those two things. Food makes you go from a negative state, a negative feeling, to a positive one. So it's the link, it's the pathway, it's the vehicle between those two things. It's not the food you want, it's the positive feeling. Food just gets you there. And it could be something else. Other people use other things like alcohol, drugs, it could be gambling, shopping, things like that to change the way they feel. The point is that these are external things that might have a detriment to you, especially if you have a goal, for example, with the food around weight loss. So being able to regulate your emotions without using food is very, very important. And the way you should be able to do it is internally. So rather than using something external, like food, to change the way you feel, being able to create that feeling in your mind by yourself internally. And most people can do this accidentally at certain times. So I'll give you an example. Imagine that you have booked an amazing holiday. How do you feel? Why do you feel that way? Because you start to imagine, you start to create pictures and images in your mind of how good it will be, and it changes the way you feel. So this is an example of being able to change the way you feel yourself internally without using something external to do that. So the next one is, let's have a look. So the three worst times to start your diet. So most people start their diet when they feel they have a clear path ahead of them. And this seems logical, yeah? You start something when you feel that there's the easiest path. However, that creates a problem because you're not solving the actual issues that come up. So the best time to actually start your diet is when there are barriers and obstacles that might be coming up, because that means that you can solve those and be completely bulletproof to problems happening. So the examples I put in here are Christmas and New Year, and things like after the weekend or before the weekend is the best time to start, and around events, birthdays, things like that. So you want to confront these problems. You want to be able to actually get feedback for yourself of why you can't follow what you're following during these things, and then implement something the next time that helps you do that. So confronting these things head on rather than waiting for them to be over. And like I said, it seems obvious to wait for them to be over, but there's always going to be things that come up. And that means there's always going to be a short time where you're dieting and then something else comes up. And so you're not solving the problems you need to solve to get long-term success. And this one here, so physical versus emotional hunger. So often emotional cravings are mixed up with physical cravings. So we get physical cravings when we actually need food for various reasons, including hunger and the nutrients. So physical hunger often comes on gradually, and emotional hunger can come on suddenly. Food type, so physical hunger can be satisfied with any food, whereas emotional hunger is often a specific type of food, for example, chocolate. So physical hunger is often felt in the stomach with like emptiness feeling or growling. And I spelled that wrong there. And emotional hunger is more in the mouth, and it could be present even if you're full. Physical hunger is related to the body's need, and you stop when you feel full, whereas emotional hunger is related to emotions, and you can easily keep eating after full, and it's sometimes difficult to stop. Physical hunger leads you to being satisfied, whereas emotional hunger can often lead to the feeling of guilt and negative self-talk. And so the point with this is start to notice what type of eating you're doing and recognize if it's physical or emotional. And physical, once solved, can often, or it's the easiest part to solve, right? Eating enough and getting enough nutrients in is just the skill part. And often the cravings can go away just by making sure that is sorted out. And a couple more. So let's have a look at this one. So is your goal inspiring enough? So most people are driven by desperation to lose weight. So what they don't want, I don't want to be like this anymore. I don't want to feel like this anymore. I don't want to look like this anymore. I don't want to have this happen to me anymore. And this is not exciting, right? This is like a desperation mindset, and it's not inspiring at all. It's just something you want to get away from. The problem with that is you get up every day hating yourself, and you start doing diets through desperation, and you hate the process as well. You're not enjoying the process because you're doing something you feel obliged to do, and it's just not exciting. You need the opposite. You need to know exactly how your life will be once you reach your goal. And you need to learn to fall in love with the process of change and becoming a new person. You need to love the way you eat. You need to love basically doing all these things that you need to do to get to your goal, because that's what makes it long term. Getting up every day, imagine you love doing what you're doing. You love the exercise you're doing. You love eating the way you're doing because it brings you this amazing life, and it brings you all these things that you wanted. And you don't mind doing them then. You actually love doing them. You put them as a priority. So it's very important to think in that way and change the way you think from the need to lose weight to the want to lose weight. I get to do this. This is how I can change myself and become a better person. So that's very important. And then last one, let's go for this one. So 95% of our thinking is unconscious. So no wonder you keep carrying out behaviors that aren't helpful. So our mind works to save energy and be efficient. So it starts creating things in the background, like habits and skills that you don't really need to think about doing. So what happens is that most of what happens in your day is just there, and it happens as a routine and out of habit. And you don't even need to think about it. And that's the point. It doesn't take so much energy to do that. And so to change yourself, you need to make the unconscious conscious and start to change these things. Otherwise, these behaviors just remain, these behaviors that aren't helpful to you. So making sure you are aware that to change, it does take some effort and thinking, and this can be tiring in the beginning, but the point is it gets less tiring because those unconscious things, the 95%, are replaced with new ones, and then those new ones are helpful to you, and because they are unconscious, then they are easy to do and don't take so much energy. So rather than using willpower and forcing yourself to do a diet, which is constantly energy hungry, taking a lot of energy, you start to create new habits and new skills that become unconscious and become the new way that you behave and the new way that your body runs in the background. So it takes a lot less energy and is very easy to do. And that's why when you look at someone who is successful with their health and fitness, it's very easy for them because they've done this and it just happens. It's harder for them not to do it because they have to think more consciously not to do it. So there we go. I hope those helped. I won't do any more today because the video is already about 15-20 minutes long. So if you did find that helpful, let me know in the comments. And if you'd like anything similar to this in the future, let me know as well, because I'd like to do a few more like this. And any questions you do have about your diet or struggles you have, feel free to let me know, and I will see you in the next one.